Hi there, Duncan here, physiotherapist and owner of Life is Movement. I make these videos for my patients here at the clinic. However, if you're not a patient and you find any of this useful, you're of course welcome to take it and run with it as you see fit. So, one really important thing about training, particularly as we get a little older, I'm 40 years old myself, is this term that I kind of hate, but it's really useful, which is called listening to your body. I always say to my patients, feeling different day to day is normal. It's called being a human being. Some days you wake up in the morning and you feel like, I could fight a bear today. Some days you wake up in the morning, you're like, please let me just go back to sleep. Today, I'm having one of those latter days. I've been away for the weekend, for the long weekend, for Easter. We had a house by the beach, lots of, walking up and down the sand, lots of, daddy, please, can you carry me? So I'm just feeling a little bit sore, a little bit tight, but I still want to squeeze in a workout before my patients start to arrive at the clinic this morning. So I just thought I'd show you what I do in order to be able to get around that feeling and not ignore the signals my body is giving me. So the first thing I do is just, a bit of a body scan. So I'm like, what parts of my body are feeling a bit tight? What's not feeling quite right? So as I stand here, I feel my particular trouble area is kind of letting me know, which is sort of my right lower back and sort of upper glute area. That's often the bit that sort of starts to lock on and be tight. So what I recommend, the first thing you do is, if you do have anything like that, pick up one of these beautiful torture devices called a Lacrosse ball. They cost about £4 or £5 off any internet company where you can buy things to be delivered the next day. And have a little play, sort of get into that area with this lacrosse ball. So I'm just going to show you how I do that for this part of my body. So there you go, just a little bit of lacrosse ball rolling. There's no magic to it, but it can down-regulate the nervous system and make tight and tonic areas feel a lot better. And actually, just doing that for about a minute or two has already made my lower back and sort of upper glute feel a lot better. Actually, kind of feels normal. It's certainly same as the other side now. So that's, certainly worth it for something that costs, £4, £5 and takes a minute or two. In my opinion, quite a good investment. While I was doing that, I noticed, particularly when I came up into that bridge position, that my hip flexors are quite tight, which is kind of normal. So I realized there's a lot of information out there about stretching before workouts. And yeah, it's true that if you do lots of slow, long, static stretching before an intense workout, it can actually reduce performance. However, I'm not looking necessarily for optimal performance. I'm not an athlete, obviously. And what I'm looking for is sort of longevity and things like that. So, and also today I'm doing an upper body workout. So I'm just going to stretch out my hip flexors because it's just going to make them feel better, particularly when I'm doing anything that stresses the lower back or works that part of my body. So I'm just going to show you how I would do that now. Okay, so now I've stretched out the front of the bit that was tight and actually already feeling basically pretty normal. So starting to feel good to go now. So basically what I do now is I do my standard workout. So I mentioned I'm doing an upper body workout. So the next thing I always start with the upper body is the Lock 3 routine, which I'll link a video to this. But on a really good tip that I often give patients, particularly, again, people who are, let's say past the age of 30, is when you're not feeling your best, start by warming up your upper body. It can just feel a lot easier. You start to get your body temperature up a little bit, get a bit of blood flowing, whatever that means. And it can just be a lot easier. It can be less of a milestone to start to sort of warm up the upper body before you start to warm up the lower body on days when you're not feeling the best, particularly early mornings like today. So just gonna do my Lock 3 routine now. Okay, that's my Lock 3 routine done. I recommend everybody do that before any upper body exercise, whether you're lifting weights, doing cardio that utilizes the upper body, doing martial arts. I have all all the guys who will listen to me at my jiu-jitsu gym do that exercise. And actually, as you can tell from my slightly elevated breathing, I'm warming up now. I'm feeling ready to go. I'm feeling pretty limber. And that's all it took. Just a little bit of care. You know, what I say to people who are older and still want to train is that you actually still can perform really, really well. Like, I'm actually as strong as I was when I was in my late 20s in terms of, you know, upper body strength, bench pressing, push-ups, pull-ups, all that sort of thing. But my body does need a little bit more care now in order to be able to do that. Sort of like a vintage car or something like that, if I could be arrogant enough to use that analogy of myself. It can still go, but you just need to look after it a bit more. It won't go as fast as, you know, I don't know, a new Tesla or something without that same sort of love and care. So just wanted to make that video to give some idea of what you might try if you want to still exercise on days when you're not feeling your best. Scan your body to see what's not feeling quite right. Use that lacrosse ball to sort of get into there, down-regulate the nervous system. And yeah, I recommend stretching any areas that feel tight and tonic, because that can really help. And then start by warming up the upper body, and that can really help. And that's all it took, and I'm ready to go now. I hope that helps.